Right on. Hey, gang. Oh, here we go again. Okay, from the top. Working on some of this orchestral music today for Fall of Civilizations podcast. Yay! I got the gig. So, yeah, welcome to the stream. I make music, as you probably know. And today I'm working in Reaper, not Ableton. But if you're into Ableton, go check out the link in the description for some free template downloads. Download them and tweak them, make them your own. I've got a couple of reservations about where we're at with this track, but don't worry, we're going to figure it all out today. Basically just percussion and horns need work. The piano kind of holds its own. But anyway, drop a message in the chat if you just want to hang out and say what up. I'm just going to move that up there so we can see it, and I'm going to move the chat back to where it once belonged. Oops, what did I do? There it is. Looks like it's the wrong way around. That's because that is locked. Okay. Cool. How annoying. We'll get there. It's Friday, my brain's asleep. That is indeed that one. Cool. Alright, cool, let's get on with it. I know this is pretty jank, but we'll get on with it now. There we go, stick that down there. Okay, so what we're doing today is I'm just gonna keep on cracking away at this composition, which is, it's just a lovely orchestral piece really. And we'll make some changes to the melodies and stuff like that, and well, no changes to the melodies, just changes to the general feel of it. I've got to figure out what needs to be done, what is the most important thing, and then kind of go with that. So let's give it a bash. Stick that in there and lock them. Cool. Whole thing comes down. All right. And let's go over here. There we go, that stays there. Great. All right, yeah, so drop a message in the chat if you want. Your comment should show up on the screen. So headphones are an issue because you can't actually get the fullness of what you want to hear. This is a big piece. It's got the instruction that I got was to make it sound like a bit of an orchestral build up. So I'm going to work on that now. Let's first just fill in all the missing pieces. You can see the horn solo over here tends to just kind of finish off after this this ostinato, the car horn sound. But it'll sound nice when it's on its own. And then what we actually need there is a continuation of that, but just not the rhythmic stuff. So we can go down to the this one. Okay. Okay, let's try again. I don't want to be too unintentional about it. One, two, three, four. Just record that, hear how it sounds. 1, 2. Messed up the recording prep. There we go. Cool. So it's from an A to a C to I've got to just stick on punch in recording. So this allows me to just start recording when it hits the marker. Let's go back there. Cool. And off we go. 2, just gets handed over to that little flute over there. Alright, so that's, again, we need to just tweak my dynamics and all of that, but we'll get there. So what I'm trying to do right now is just fill out the missing parts. Let's give it a listen. I'm actually in two minds about the first note. It's not necessary. Up here at the top, this yellow track is 4/0. So it just kind of breaks. And they landed on the same note there with that. That amplifies it too much. Cool. So let's piece together this horn section over here. Two horn parts I'm using are Forzo, which is the bright yellow track, and then I've got this brass compilation, which is a contact instrument filled with a bunch of stuff I'm not really using, and this horn solo. In fact, what we could do, if we wanted to, is just remove the visibility of all these tracks just to make it seem a little bit more. Where was it? Control-Alt-T. No, Control-Shift-T. There we go. Cool. I only want the tracks that are being used to be visible. So we could possibly filter. Can we filter by track? I wonder how to do that. What is R? Show hide columns. Just out of interest, I'm just doing a bit of research here. Funny, yeah, this is what being a musician in this era is about. It's about learning software. Okay, so I don't think there's a filter for contains MIDI, which is what I'm looking for. I want to basically hide everything that doesn't contain MIDI. I wonder if there's a way to add that. Show hide columns. No, not really. Okay. Alright, then let us just find it, do it all kind of manually. Sorted by, it was a track ID. No, just sorted by where it falls in the hierarchy. There we go. Yes, and then all of this stuff. We don't need any of the okay, what I'm doing now, in case you're interested, is I'm finding the oh man, looks like it's locked my filter. I don't actually want to do this. I'm finding the tracks that aren't really being used, and I am just cleaning up my interface basically. I know that all of these are not really necessary, so we'll take them out. Cool, let's leave BG04 full in, and then all of these pink ones here, not necessary. Let's clean it up, and we'll leave the rest in. That's good enough for now. I don't want to delete too much, because then you limit your ability to just pick up an instrument and play it, virtually speaking, that is. Okay, so without getting too into the weeds, let's just do a color coordination of all these various parts. So now what I'm going to do is, when Reaper's back, there we go, just want to color all of these the same color. That'll give me a nice feel and overview of what's going on. Also looks just a little bit nicer for the stream. Winds, let's get the winds cleaned up too. So these tracks over here are not necessary to be viewed. They're just the audio return tracks. Okay, so winds, all of them, let's just make them a little bit more on the blue side. And then strings down here at the bottom, same thing. I don't need the bottom strings to be visible. I'll do volume automation later, and I'll just, for now, including the cello, I'm going to have all of them set to a kind of a greenish color, if I can find one. There we go, some hyper colors for you. Piano gets its own color because it is a sort of standalone instrument and very much the star of this track. These two violin parts are recorded by me. They are Live violin, what a thrill, being able to include live violin on your track, yay. And then all of this stuff, BG, these are all the percussion tracks. Let's stick them in at that kind of... Okay, we'll keep them Reaper teal. Okay, cool kids, now that's that. I've set this up to be a little bit more visible and beautiful and playable. Now what I want to do is address the... Let's first do a bounce of all of the... Not a bounce, but what I call grouplication. This is where you just basically turn everything into one long MIDI track. There we go, cool. So you've got these parts that are now available. I think that is the end of that. This might just be a MIDI fade out, but it's fine. Cool. I'm gonna just yeah, okay, cool, that's fine. We'll do the fade out there later. Alright, so that's looking good to me now. That feels nice. It's got a nice interface and everything's kind of ready to go to the next level, to progress. Okay. So, what have we got to do? Let's give it another listen and just hear where the pain points are and start refining. Okay, I'm not 100% happy with the percussion sound, and these opening moments are quite important. So the percussion is the aim of it is to try and make it sound like footsteps marching. This is a podcast about the fall of civilizations and warfare, and I think that we've got a nice depth to them, but they're not actually the right sound. Put it that way. So I'm going to add another. Another one of these channels called the Contact Cineperk library. We add Cineperk, we're going to get a whole bunch of different sounding percussion instruments, a lot of them exotic, and I also need a reference track. I need something that I'm trying to emulate, basically, because that really always helps with the, getting into the flow and getting the direction. So I was playing around with a lot of these libraries earlier and kind of figuring out, learning the instruments that you have while you're on them. Let's try soloing out, not soloing out, but let's try viewing. It's going to be here, sorry. Send it to, not the master, just the pre-master. Thank you. And color it like the others. There we go. So now we've got all these additional sounds at our disposal. Okay, now let's just play around with them, try and beef up this track a little bit, basically. And beef it up, make it more beefy. Okay, we could do the symbol over there, perhaps. Let's try it again. And this is the big power percussion sound. I think it's the same as this one. No? Let's load this up and see what we're triggering. BG Ensemble 04 full. Not sure why it's triggering a snare sound as well as a... I think I'm double triggering. It's about finding the right sounds, basically. That's the stage that we're at now. Okay, right. So let's find the right sounds. This is a good one. It's a very far away sounding orchestral percussion sound, very big. And for reference sake, it's Cineperk Orchestral Percussion Ensemble. I've loaded up quite a biggish patch here. I think it's about 2 gigs. And that's not really even that big, but here we go. Let's just get some additional sounds in here is what I'm saying. so let's try that. I'm gonna just record that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, getting there. Okay, so to get away from the repetitiveness of going A, B, A, I mean, it's supposed to sound like footsteps, like an army marching, but I've just made this a sort of 1, 2, 3 pattern. So it's the fourth one is going to be a little bit more unaccented. So that should give us a little bit of variation, which is what it's all about. Here's just percussion. The last one is. These are out of time, and that's because I've set my MIDI to not be so responsive. Because I'm saving the RAM for these big orchestral patches need their RAM. So here we go. Eyes closed. Okay, still out of time. Let's just open up that, and you can see manual corrections need to be made here. Need to be on the beat. I think this is written to a 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. Cool. 1. Okay. Good. Now we'll just zip that back down, and what happens now is you can actually afford to take this part and just set the loop markers around it and then turn it into a loop. This works because Control-Alt-Shift-L, Control-Alt-Shift-G is going to loop it for me. Hello. Sorry, I'm a little bit rusty on Reaper. It's been a while. Let's go with just query group. Control-Shift-L, loopify, that's it. This is a custom macro that I made in order to be able to do what I'm doing now, which is just stretch out the Ableton style and stretch out the loop. Okay, here we go. Without getting too into it, that sounds okay. We're gonna leave that at that. Let's hear the rest of the tune. So we're gonna just, it's like I'm iterating, you know, I'm slowly bringing something to the song. It needs to build, it needs to go from sparse to epic, and I think the challenge is actually the build, not the epic. And that could also just be like a big cymbal crash. I'm gonna try. We'll come back to the crashes. I like to do them last because otherwise you end up, while you're working on it, you have to endure these big moments. I think crashes are like the icing on the cake. They're like the megaphone announcing that there's a big change, but not necessarily while you're actually in the crafting stage. Okay. I wonder if this stuff couldn't all be taken to an even bigger extreme with the inclusion of a dedicated sort of reverb or effects track that just makes the entire thing sound bigger. I'm going to add a typical sounding reverb. Ozone's got some decent plugins, I mean presets. Let's go with some of these. Let's just hear how they sound. Okay, so let's go with Stadium because we are going for a huge sound, and now I'm going to send all of the percussion the quickest way to do this is actually like this. I'm going to send all of the percussion to reverb, so that should show up there now. And then solo out the reverb just to hear how that sounds, and also make sure it doesn't go to the master. We want it to only go to pre-master so that it gets all the treatment of the original track. Okay, cool. In we go with this disc. Nothing playing because the soloed channel needs to be pre-master in its just check here quick. Pre-fader, post-fader, post-pan. Okay. Pre-fader, post-FX, pre-FX. Okay, cool. Let's try that. No, that should be playing. Okay, right. Let's get another one here. Pre-fader, pre-FX. Wonder how we set this up so that you can hear just the... Oh, it's going to bus perk. Oh, I didn't realize there was a bus perk. Okay, let's try this again. Screwed it up a bit. Bus perk can have a little bit of isotope on it. Reverb can just be deleted. Now I'm going to just hear bus perk on its own. Cool. I don't want to hear it with the presets that I've just included, so Stadium will bypass. Okay, let's hear this again. I want this to be basically max. Like completely wet. Okay, let's try the mode, change the mode. Cathedral. Just experimenting now with production techniques, really. See what we can get out the pipe here. Okay, let's see. Arena. Oh, there we go, wet mix, that's what I'm after actually. Okay, it's kind of soloed, it's that's nice, it's bigger. You can that's sounding quite large now. Let's try it again from that's also quite large. Okay, and then without in the mix. Just getting a sense for where this track's going production-wise. It's quite cool actually hearing all this stuff come out the pipe. Please load the interface. 2, 3, there, cool. Now I can take the decay time up. Okay, what I actually want here now. Alright, let's get this interface up and just pin it so that it doesn't disappear again. I'm not sure if this is the right reverb, but anyway. Pin it. Cool. let's try another preset. Here we have Stadium. What is Wall of Sound? I haven't actually experimented with that. Let's try that. Sounds like the right choice for this mix. And we're going to take it back to here and then just solo it out and also solo out the percussion. That's where the kind of juice is in this. I do want to also just another multi-band. It's a Rex comp. To get to compression, just make the sound a bit more beefy. So I'm going to just actually bring these highs up a bit. This is like 100% weight. Can't be too high. Sounding better than before. Before and let's also, yeah, we're compressing the reverb. That's what we want. Okay, let's go with that for now. I'm just going to use Ozone until something better comes along. So here we go. Okay, let's focus on brass now. Let's turn to brass. I almost feel like the 1-2 nature of it must come in later. This part here, which has more from here. No, those hits are too hard. Let's flip this around. Let's flip the whole thing around. So we're going to do this whole section here. Until that point. So this entire section over here, let's get the razor tool, cut the whole thing out, and we're going to switch it with this section over here, which I believe is less intense, so to speak. Okay, so we'll take all this, cut it, and switch it with this. Okay, looks like we got an overlap there, that's fine, and then paste that there. Okay, cool. So we start out this piece half the tempo now. All of this stuff's got to come down velocity. The build up is what's important, so I want to get to a point where it's That's actually better. That's immediately better. Better. I'll delete this from the first part. Let the piano take it. And let that break there, that's good. And then a timpani roll or something, which suggests there's more coming now. Yeah, okay. I feel where we're going with this now. So we do have bass in this. I think it's a string bass. This one here. Maybe what we could do is foreshadow. What if we did a different articulation on that? Just I'm trying to find something other than the harmonic. Oh no, wait, sorry, yeah, that's right. There it is. Okay, get more rhythmic here, so the key switches. I need to see this, can't guess. Alright, bring up the panel for basses and see where we were. I think it was harmonics over here. There, so it's D sharp for harmonics, which we have been using, and now what we want is actually that spiccato. So we're going from D sharp to F, okay. Okay, cool. Okay, let's get some movement in there then. And we want it to be okay, good. So to build, which is what the client's spec is, we're going to need more than just the legato sound that's been characterized the bass up until now. So let's get that. So at this point we'll take the key switch and move it up to the F, which goes from harmonics to spiccato, correct? And then we'll start sequencing this in, so it'll be it's gonna be quicker to sequence it like this, I think. Dun, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. 1, 2. Dun 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 dun. That's it. Good. Now we'll just resequence that over here. Dun 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 dun. Down to D, and then we'll redo it there. Okay, good. That is it. Cool. Alright, let's hear it on its own first. There, that also has a military feel, which is wonderful. Good. Okay, let's get into it. There we go. It's lacking the bass sound that we need though, unfortunately. Maybe it's just my headphones. But I'll do a proper mix on this once it's done, but it would be nice to hear the actual... It definitely needs a sub. This entire composition needs a sub bass. We're going to have to double up on the bass stuff. Let's add a new instrument here. I'm just going to actually get it going now, and I'll create a second. Yeah, create a second one. I wonder what a good instrument is for the sub bass. I think lots of options as usual. I know Reactor is a really good start for electronic sounding music. Maybe we should just drop in a Reactor and see what kind of sounds we can get. I'll import the MIDI. Okay, we don't need that from there. Undock this. And let's have it up here on the main screen. Come on, Reactor, time to shine. And now we're just going to get that running to the master, not to the master, sorry, to the pre-master. And make sure to drop the volume because Reactor always comes in blazing hot. Okay, and now we can unsolo, add this to the solo group. Cool. MIDI not connected, let's just input anything. Actually just all. Cool. Okay, that's definitely not the sound we're after, so we'll just find a different sounding. The thing with Reactor and bass sounds is you really don't have to like overthink it, because React is I mean, you can just go to initialize patch and you should just get like a saw wave basically. Let's try and find the init patch setting, a sine wave at least, not a saw wave. I'm just going to actually change this patch. I don't think it's the right one. Let's open up Contour, see what that's offering us. I'm looking for a sub bass or a lowish bass sound to replace and augment the double basses of the orchestra. So I said I was going to keep this to strictly orchestral instruments, but it looks like I'm already breaking my rules. Okay, Oxygen Roads. And that's quite nice, pure sound. It's called Block. Okay, let's go with this one. We don't need the cap. I would like to just raise up the attack a little bit. Sorry, that's the mix. Envelope A, we want the attack to be a bit higher. Lose that pop. And I'm not sure about all the second and third oscillators. We might just need the one. Let's take that's what we don't want. Oh man, I do wish you had a default set. Okay, let's go with that then. Alright, so I'm figuring out a sub bass here for the bass sounds, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if this works. Let's first need to find my MIDI. Where my MIDI at? There it is. Cool. So I'm going to just lose that interface and bring up. Hear how it sounds in combination with the bass. That sounds horrible, and the reason is it's triggering the key switch note, which is not needed because we're not switching keys and not switching articulations. That's too loud. Okay, and then if we were to double that, and now we just solo it out without this. So you're losing a lot of low end if you don't have this reactor patch in the back. So it's worth keeping, and let's just hear how it sounds if I just basically duplicate the entire bass sound without doing any extra work. And let's get that up here. I mean, I could also just import the MIDI, but then it's going to play these really high notes, which are actually just designed to change their key switch notes. So therefore, when you want to change from one bow articulation to the next on the double basses. Very complicated stuff, not worth getting into now. But what I want to do is let's also just pump up the mod wheel value of this. I want to hear how it sounds when it's quite loud. Sounds like it's already loud. And I've got that's what we want to try and avoid, is that sound is like the same sound being triggered 5 or 6 times in a row. The machine gun sound. Dun 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 dun. So we're going to take these down and accent the odd ones. This is manual work. Dun 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 dun. There we go. I can hear it now. Okay, cool. Okay, so what I'm trying to go for here is a louder bass sound, one that's augmented by the sub. Okay, let's hear it in the mix. I've got to thicken up this whole composition. It's not about being clever musically, it's about having understanding about how production works. That's what gets you gigs, that's what gets you jobs. You have to know how to produce music. This is something that I'm on the figuring out. I can hear a nice warm low layer now, which wasn't there before. And here comes some brass, and we'll do a little sweep up on this dynamics. This is way too low. And also there's no sustain value on the synth. I need to beef that up, because without that, long sustain notes are not going to sound. So let's go over to the contour envelope, and let's just hear how this decays. So I'm going to just play a nice low G here, and it sort of decays at a reasonable volume now that I've tweaked this up here. We don't want 100% sustain, because then it's not going to sound very aligned with the bass. It's going to just continue when the bass has decayed, and you have the sub layer going. Yeah, that's what I'm after. Yes. Now the bass needs to come up, but not the rest of the strings, which it's in the same group as, so we have to do it here in this volume mixer. That's what I want, a nice low. I want the low parts of this track have to be quite well done, I think, because we've got such an obsession with bass. If the bass isn't done right, you're not going to get away with it. But if the higher and the mids are done sloppily, you'll get more results. Oh, you know what the other problem is? I've doubled up, because I copied the bass over. The bass has got an octave double. I didn't mean to do that for the sub. The sub is a monophonic sub, so it's only triggering the top note. And then I've also screwed up that, which is different velocities. So we want all of these velocities to be the same, roughly the same. There we go. Din, 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 din. Okay, and then we double that up. So now we should have just one layer at the lower one. Looks like I've gone and it's playing an A now instead of a G. Pushed it up one tone by mistake. I don't know how that happened. Let's try again. I assume the second one made the same mistake. Okay, here we go, kids. Got some nice vibes. Gilp, nice to see you. What is up? What is good? How are you doing today? Hope you're well. I'm trying to read your comment, but I'm zoomed in so close I can't actually see what's going on. Gilp says, reactor of fire Lunaris 2 by Luftrum is sick if you make space ambient. Alright, Lunaris 2 by Luftrum. You are a wealth of recommendations. So now this is decaying better. Still needs to come up. The decay time's too short. It's also because the velocity is so low. There we go. Let's take that up. That's what I was after, yeah. Okay, let's try it again. I'm trying to get this low end right. Yeah, now I can feel this kind of low vibe, which wasn't there before. This is what you might call the outro, the denouement. This sound is not welcome at all. It just does not sound nice. This is like real fine-tuning type of stuff. What I'm doing today is like requires some close listening. I've only got these headphones on, but it's a good starting point for when you do the actual mix through the monitors, is to try and get all the parts in place and everything with headphones first, then fall in love with it, then you take the headphones off and it sounds crap through your speakers, and then you have to like beat it into place with compression and do the EQ and stuff, and then you put your headphones back on and it sounds like okay, and then you listen to it in your car for 3 weeks and then it sounds like you need to change this and this, and you come back and you change that and that, and then it sounds fine and you're happy with everything, and then you listen to it through bud earphones and it's just like it peaks out, and eventually what happens is you just give up and you go, okay, well, it's never going to be like, you know, if you were standing behind Michelangelo's David, that beautiful masterpiece of sculpture, and all you could see was his ass, you'd be like, it doesn't matter how beautiful that piece of stone is, I'm just standing in the wrong place looking at it, and not everyone's going to see it from that angle. Everyone's going to see the beauty and stuff. People who just see asses and beauty are not the ones you're trying to please and reach. Okay. All right. Silly metaphors aside, let's give this track an actual listen, shall we? And you know what I'm going to do? Before we even do that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to drag the entire bass part, delete the key switches, max out all the velocities, and copy it to the sub right now. And let's see how it sounds. Ah, there is some bass. Here's no bass. Yes, much better. Hang on. Sorry, I'm sorry if you were enjoying that. Why is this bass not even playing? It should be... Is it playing here? It is. It's not playing here. That's odd. All I heard was the sub. Okay, what about just a... nothing coming out? That's odd. The articulation. Sorry guys, doing some troubleshooting here. Oh, it's the mod wheel is all the way down. Must have just triggered it later on its own. Okay, so the mod wheel, in fact, this is why you want to do this every so often. I'm going to go back to the start of the track, set the input marker, go to the end of the track, set the output marker, select, I'll just zoom out so I can see everything, select all the MIDI. In fact, we want to do this. I want an input marker here too. And then we go back to there. Cool. What I'm trying to do is get all of the MIDI and select it all and just create a group from it so that it's all one big piece. Now I can go back to the bass and just, there we go, there's the problem, much more visible now. You can see that the second clip, the second half of the track had the mod wheel enabled, the first half didn't. I'm going to do dynamics later, which is changing all this stuff, but for now I think all of this also needs to come up. We don't want bass to sound like it's lost or hidden, because it's the one thing that really has to be a bit more present these days. Okay. Although it's also useful to realize that sampled bass instruments don't really do, orchestral sampled basses in this type of music don't really do the job of a bass in the orchestra. They're not there to provide like the low end because it's complemented by synthesizers. So that's more for the timbre. It's for the roughness and the rawness of the sound. That's what the role of the bass is in this music. So it's tempting to think use the bass, the double bass, whatever you want to call it, for the low sounds, but actually they're just there to augment the really low sounds. Okay, let's keep going. Gilp says, did you find the download link for Cloud Seed under the buttons you play with on the Ghost Note audio site? I didn't. No, I found the paid version. I was like, I can't really shell out $40 for this, but it does sound and look amazing. Please do send me the link if you have a link to a free version. I'd be happy to use it in the compositions, feature it on the stream, whatever. This is sounding much nicer. I halved the tempo of the percussion. Much better. Again. Okay, I'm not sure what to do about that, but what we can do here at the moment is just get this labeled sub and just stick it right under the bass. Okay, this part over here. Okay, that's important to you that this stuff doesn't overlap. You can only have one note playing at a time, that's fine. At this point we have to change that envelope so that it doesn't sound like it does now. The reverb needs to come up for one. Not the reverb, the release value. Dun dun. That's better. Take them both up. Just toying with this contour. I don't use it a lot, so. But now what's releasing is not the low sound, it's the second one that's releasing. Let's try just do the same thing with envelope B. Good. Now I think that oscillator 1 is actually not necessary. Let's see if we can remove its importance. Mix A, B, C, D. Oh cool, A, B, C and S, not D. So we can take, let's just hear A in the mix and see how that sounds. I'm trying to find which one is the sub sound. Let's reset to that. Yeah, I think it's comb filter. State variable filter. Okay, no. And can you change these out? View A, no. Gilp says you just misseed the download link. Here it is. Ghost Note Audio Pages Downloads. Okay, cool. Thanks, dude. Cool. That'll be ghostnoteaudio.co.uk Pages Downloads. Okay, cool. You must see ID the download link. Alright, cool. I'll check that out now. Yeah, I've got to get going, dudes. This is I'm going to just reset this patch. Good, and I'll take this. good? No, just up with the... I know you probably can't hear this on a mobile phone, but... Again. That's better. Alright, good. Let's give that a bash with these basses, because this staccato part. It makes all the difference having like a decent low end if it needs to be decent. That's no low end. I'll do one better than that. I'll just open it up right now. The link. ghostnoteaudio.uk, not co.uk. What an interesting URL. There we go, cool. Cloud Seed Infinity Loop. Alright, cool. I'll get that stuff, yeah, let's get the Windows installer downloaded. Cool, I'll sort that out in a bit. I've got it in my downloads. Thanks, Gil. Appreciate it, man. Cool, dudes. I gotta go. Thanks so much for joining once again. I'm sorry this isn't the longest stream in the world again, but I'll be back. Consider becoming a patron, of course. I left my patron top bar off the whole time. Damn, I'm supposed to be broadcasting ads at you about what you get when you sign up. Yeah, I'll get some of the templates that I've been making, the Ableton Live stuff. Complete songs is actually a better way to put it, not templates, because they're project files with all of the glorious composition data included. But yeah, they're fun to play with, so go check out the free ones in link in the chat. And then yeah, I'll be back next week with another stream. Thanks, yeah, thanks Gilb for the link and for showing up as always. Love you, bro. And for the rest of you, next time will be the time that you find the courage to reach out and say what up. And looking forward to the next one. Yeah, it's going to be good. Also looking forward to putting this tune behind me. Let's give it a listen while I pack up. I'm just going to let it play in the background. Big love, dudes. See you soon.